So let me just turn this around. I was looking at the sky, and it's a clear moonless night, and even though it's supposed to get cloudy here in an hour or so, I said I can't waste it. So I set up my AM5 and my S car, and I'm gonna go over a polar alignment routine. So I've got all my stuff here. I enter that. What I'm going to do is, let me walk over here and set this down on here. And let's get some light on the situation. All right. So what I did is, I know Polaris is on my phone camera, but it's right there between the backyard. And what I like to do is, I'm disconnected. All right, I'm gonna hit annotate, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be Polaris right there. Yep. All right. It's a little out of focus, but I think that should work for polar aligning. I'm gonna come over here and go to PA, and gonna hit play button to start it. I'll move this tripod over here for when I'm. Okay. All right, once that's done, I'm gonna hit next. And the mount's gonna rotate, I think it's 30 degrees. Maybe 60. I forgot to look. All right, it says calculated. Hit let's go. All right. So I'm off a pretty good bit here. I felt like I was kind of centered, but I'm going to go through this real quick. Okay, I'm going to set this right here and just show you. Well, I'll just show you. I'll just hold it. All right. So these on this is the AM5, and so these pumps the mount left and right, and this one right here will move it up and down. So I'm going to loosen. These are the these tighten it. I'm going to loosen these. Okay, so now we're loosened. And let me get this tripod out of the way. So I'm going to start off with left and right first. So it says I'm 158.58, and I need to move it to the right. So what I'm going to do is come over here and loosen these up. I'm going to actually look at the mount and see. Okay, so it's opposite. I'm going to turn this left one right here, and it's moving. You can see it moving the mount. All right, now I'm going to come over here, and it's 158.58. I'm going to hit refresh. It's going to take another 3-second image, and we're going to look at that number. 104. Whew, I'm going to move this thing a lot. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this side up. I'm going to move it some more. You'll see the mount turn a little bit. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit refresh. It's going to take another shot, and that should be getting pretty close. Okay, boom, got it down to 310. Okay, so now the up and down one is on the top. You see the arrow pointing down. All right, it needs to come down 117.36. So I'm going to look at this, I'm going to see which direction it's going. So it said it needed to come down, so I need to turn it this way. Make sure these are loosened. All right, so it's at 117.36. I'm going to hit refresh. Boom, look at that. I'm in there. It turned to a little smiley face, so I'm pretty close. You could probably say, hey, that's good enough, but I like to get it closer than that. So that's basically how you get it. And once you do it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. So it needs to come down 149, over to the right, 149. So I'm going to move this thing just a little more. And once you get inside this circle and the little smiley face pops up right here, these are pretty small movements. So, I mean, just if you go too crazy, you'll shoot right back outside the circle. I'm going to hit refresh. And see, I just shot outside of it with that. I went too far, so let me dial it back there. All right, we're back in, and I'm gonna just go, I like being over to the left side of that circle, so I'm just gonna barely turn it. And let's see where it goes. A little too far, but, and these are just tiny movements, so I'm just gonna barely touch it. I'm gonna refresh. And we should be close to that center line, I hope. A little closer. I'll just stick with that. And so now I need to come down with the mount because that arrow on the top is saying I need to go down 207. I'm trying to remember which way was I turning this thing. I don't. Okay. I was turning it down this way, counterclockwise. I may have just went too far with it, but let's see what it goes to. Oh yeah, too far. All right, now I know which way I'm going. I'm going to turn it back up just a little bit. Come over here and hit refresh. I can get a little closer than that, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn it just a touch. Go back, hit refresh. Okay, that's getting pretty close. I'm going to bump it up just one, tiny. Just barely moved it. And hopefully I didn't go too far. All right, that's much better. So now what I'm going to do is I like to get under 30 seconds on each one. So I'm at 18 going up and down, and left and right I'm at 37. I'm going to just barely turn this thing. Oh, the wind's starting to pick up. That probably means the clouds are coming. Crap. Hang on a sec. All right, let's refresh. $29. And I'm going to bump this up just a touch. Refresh one more time. I mean, you don't have to get it this close, but I like my total error to be down to like 30 at a minimum. So I'm going to bump that just a little bit more. So right now, total error is 41. And let's see what that did. Boom, 28. All right, so now I'm going to tighten these back down right here on the sides. I'm going to try to do this really gently. Hang on a second. So I just try to use the hands of a heart surgeon right there so I didn't bump it out of alignment. We're at total error 28. And we would just, and that's one thing about these AM5s when these locking knobs right here, it will like make it jump a good bit. And I could probably go with that, but I think I can do a little better. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back down just a touch, and I'm gonna come over here. I'm just gonna bump this just a little bit to the left here. All right. Let's hit refresh. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Now, here's the trick. I'm just going to barely tighten this thing. And I mean, I'm just trying not to move it all. Got it tight. Total error is 16. And if it jumps over 30, oh well, I'm just going to go with it. 27. I'll take it. And that took longer than normal because I'm holding my phone. Look at that. ZWO is clowning me. Guess you were walking very slow. Okay. You know what I like to do is once I'm done with the polar alignment, I come back over to the mount tab and I'll just hit come on down and hit go to home position and hit start. And then we're going to go right back to Polaris. I'm going to take a photo and see if it's kind of centered in the photo. All right. Uh-oh, here we go. All right, let's take a little snapshot right here. It's not centered. I can see it right there to the left, right here. It's definitely not centered, but you can hit that little annotate button right here, and it'll tell you there's Polaris. But I'm just going to go with it and just see how it does. Okay. I need to run an autofocus, so I'm just going to hit, and I was telling Walt, Delta Astrophotography, Sky Groot, I'm going to try to get an hour on the Witch Head, which is by Rigel. You can't see it up. You can see that bright star. It's right by that star. I started on that the other night. So I'm going to hit autofocus. And like I was saying earlier, I was telling Walt over on Delta Astrophotography on YouTube, these electronic filter, the EAF right here, thing's amazing. They're on sale right now until January the 3rd for $150. If you got a telescope, I highly recommend it. It's focusing right now. I'm just going to walk over here and check on the sea star. I'm going to let it focus and run its routine. I'm going to check on this sea star and see how this mosaic of Orion's coming along. Okay, I'm going to try not to. Pretty good. Pretty good. If I can get those corners filled, I'll be happy. Oh, that's really looking good in the center. I can see the running man. So if I can just get those two corners to fill out and complete, it'll be a mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned. Orion's still a good ways away from the meridian, so I think it can do it. It says it's only got 17 minutes collected so far. That's not good. This thing's been running for 45 minutes and it's only collected 17 minutes. I don't think it's going to finish it. Every time I rotate the framing in the sea star, I just can't get it to complete. But I mean, it's an all-TAS mount, so I don't expect miracles. Okay, so here is the autofocus routine. If you're not familiar with that, what it's doing is it's turning the focuser it's taking a picture, and then it's marking the star size, and it's making a graph. And what it's going to do is it's going to try to find the smallest star size it can, and then that's going to be the focus position. So you see it's making that curve. It knows it's close to 27,422. It's focused there. All right, 27,431, and star size is 3.22. That's not very small, but we're gonna roll with that. It is better than it was. I'll take another exposure and test it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to continue where I left off, and what I like to do is go to image management, this little thumbstick tab right here. The wind's starting to pick up. I'm going to go to auto run right here. I'm going to go to lights, and I'm going to go to the witch head, how I framed it up. And what I'm going to do, and you can see my gradient is terrible. You see how bad that is? That's from that church parking lot over there. I'm going to hit this one, and it's going to load up. And I'm going to hit go to. You can barely see it right there. Hit go to. And I didn't do a guiding calibration. I'm running out of time. I'm hoping this thing will calibrate, and you see the scope moving over here. And it's Orion's fairly high up in the sky, but I'm still going to pick that gradient up. There's just no working around that. So what the ASIR is doing, it's taking a photo, and it is plate solving, and it says it's centered, and it's going to load up, and I can hit annotate, and it's lined up how I had it, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to hit the guide. So I'm going to come over here and start looping it. And I didn't do a calibration, and I hope this works. I'm going to go ahead and hit guide, and it's going to do a calibration. And I'm hoping the witch head is actually centered, because this is in height at 400 millimeters. I should have shot this with my Rokinon. All right, let's flip this around here. Yeah, I wish I would have shot this with my Rokinon, right? Because at 400 millimeters, it's pretty tight. So I'm gonna walk away from the mount and let it do its calibration. I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, I was just gonna set the start up tonight, and I started. I said, man, it's a clear moonless night, and I know the clouds are coming, but man, and I almost set my planetary scope up and brought my laptop out, and I was thinking, I was like, it's kind of windy, and it says the seeing's bad on Astrospheric, so I was like, if I can get one more hour on the witch head, I'd rather just do that. So that's what I'm doing. What up, bro? Hey, let's walk back over here and check on the sea star. All right, we're at 20 minutes of data that's been stacked, and I think it called for like 1.2 hours or 1.3 hours. I don't know if we're gonna get it. I wish it would fill those corners out, but it just popped up stack failed because the wind's picking up. The wind's starting to pick up, and that could be doing it. But I've noticed the longer you go into these mosaics, it seems like they start failing to stack. I try not to go over 1.5. I've had the most success with that, but I like how that's framed up. I guess I could have went a little bit smaller, but I just tried 1.6 to see how it would do. But I don't think that's going to complete tonight. All right, walk back over here. So this is usually what I do on the weekends if it's clear. I set up multiple rigs and try to take advantage of this clear sky. And it sucks that the clouds are heading this way, but just taking advantage of it while I can. All right, let's go over here. Let's see what this thing is doing. Guiding's not terrible. I usually do a calibration over by the meridian. It's not bad. All right, I'm gonna see if this thing moved. I'm gonna take a test shot. Let that load up. And I'm gonna hit annotate over here, that button. And it looks like it's still centered. All right, cool. So I'm gonna switch this preview. I'm gonna come over here. I'm just gonna do an auto run. I'm gonna go up here. I think this will be my third night on it. So I'm just gonna name it Witch 3. Witch 3. And I was doing 5 minutes. I'm just gonna do an hour's worth. The wind is really picking up. Oh man, it wasn't doing that before I set up, but that's how it goes. I knew better, but I did it anyways. The wind is really kicking. Well, let's see if we can get another hour on it. Guiding is not as good as I like, but we'll see if it holds. And it's starting another autofocus routine because I had switched that over into settings. But I'm gonna walk away from this thing and let it get to work. So it's running another focus, and it's gonna start that plan, and I'm gonna hopefully get another hour on the Witch Head because it's a dark nebula and it needs as much time as I can get. And you can see with all these street lights I'm surrounded by, it's kind of tough. But other than that, when you look straight up, you can see Jupiter right there. So that's actually picking up. I don't even see Saturn anymore. Yeah, I can't see anything in that direction. There's Jupiter. Maybe I'll get you again, Jupiter. And I think that's Mars right over the house there. There's Mars. Hang on a sec here. Let me see something. Okay. Sorry about that. I was just telling people on my Discord that I'm doing a live stream, and I just walked through a polar alignment. I'm going to try to upload this. It was trying to upload part 1, but it was taking forever. So I'm going to see if this thing will upload. But all right, let's see what this thing is doing. Okay, we started our first image of the plan, or the auto run. Wind died down a little bit, but I have a feeling it's going to pick back up. Guiding is pretty decent. 0.6 total RMS, 0.5, 0.55. I'll take that. That's pretty good. And I don't know, it's going, wow. Look at that. 0.47. I'll take it. That's actually better than I've been getting, and I had read online, let me flip this around. I'd read online that you should point your telescope to like not the meridian, but what is it called? I can't even think of it right now. But basically, your mount's facing due north, you should point it far east. So I always point it way back to the east, to like it's a line on the sky atlas. And I have to go up pretty high to get out of the light pollution. So I usually go up about 50 degrees. I've been doing my calibrations there, and I skipped that tonight, and this thing is actually guiding better than it does when I do that. I'm hitting on like 0.43 total. So, learn something new every night. I'll probably just skip that step. That's been taking an extra few minutes to point the scope over there and do that calibration. It looks like I was just doing it for nothing. We're now coming up on 9 o'clock, and not a cloud in the sky. I wish I would have set up my other scope and got a couple more hours on Pleiades and Orion, but I didn't do it. I was getting a much needed haircut. All right, let's go check on this first image here. Also picked up this new battery on Black Friday, and I wanted to test it. I've been using those Watt funds, and they're about like $298 or something, and I can get about 7 hours out of a Watt fund, which is pretty good. But like in the wintertime when it gets dark so early, and if I actually stay up late, it gets pretty close to zero by the time I'm about to wrap it up. So that's going to be for like week trips and all-nighters. All right, got about 1 more minute on this thing, and we're going to see what it looks like. But yeah, that guiding is holding at around like 0.5, so I'm not even going to fool with doing that calibration in that section of the sky anymore. Seems like a waste of time. I'm going to run back over here and check on the sea star. Hoping I don't step in dog crap again, or cat crap. I don't know what it is, but stepped in it the other night. It's awful. All right, let's flip this thing around. All right, that top corner is getting really close to being filled in. The bottom one, not so much, but I am at 23 minutes and 50 seconds of stacked data. And I just hit 24, and this thing needs an hour. it's like an hour and 40 minutes until meridian. If the clouds hold off until 10 o'clock, which is one more hour away, maybe it can get done. I don't know. That's like it's like 40 more minutes. I don't see it. I don't see it completing. But we tried. All right. So this is like one thing, you know, I got a cold the other night because it was in the 20s here, which is really cold for down south. But I'm out here and it's almost January. It's in late December, and I'm wearing a t-shirt, and I love it. But I see something. The windows on that truck are starting to get really foggy, and a lot of water condensation on the truck. I see it on the truck, and the dew point is really close to the temperature tonight. So I'm going to check on this. So you see this gradient. Those are it's a parking lot full of LEDs causing this gradient right here. You can see that. And I'm shooting pretty far above it, but it's still, and thank the creators of Graxpert, because I've been using Graxpert and it's been knocking it right out every time. So thank you, Graxpert, because you're making a huge difference. Because I used to have to try to manually fix this in Photoshop, and I was terrible at gradients in Photoshop. Now everything with processing, it's all going to AI scripts, and I mean, you just punch a button. It's kind of taken a lot of the manual work out of it, which I'm probably going to do a video on that, talking about like automation and stuff. I mean, everything's going that way. I mean, it's just how it is. That's the future. But if you all you do is hit a button and automate everything, you're really not putting your touch on it. I mean, that's my opinion. And so if everybody gets the same program and runs the same scripts, and everybody's image is going to look the same. And to me, that's not what it's about. Is, you know, I think there's a little bit of artistic side to it. Yes, it's science, but I feel like it's a little bit of artistic, you know, merit in it. And if everything's automated and all you do is just punch buttons, and what are you spending your time out here taking photos for? Because it looks like everybody else's. But yeah, I'll probably do a video on that in the future. So yeah, man, I hope this clear sky holds for another hour. Even 2 would be great. I'm just trying to get another hour on the witch. I think that might put me up to like 6 hours total. I think I've got 5. So I would like to get to 8. If the clouds don't come in, I'll probably try to shoot another hour on it up till the meridian. So what's everybody doing this Friday night? I'm standing in my front yard looking like an idiot talking to myself. All right, I'm gonna check on this, and I'm probably gonna end this one. I may come back and do one more third part. I don't want this to go too long, and I was trying to upload the first one and it was taking forever, and it was only like 35 minutes, and I'm at 35 right now. But we're going, just wrap up image number 2 of 12. Should be loading here. Guiding is much better than it has been. Learned something new tonight. I'm not even going to fool with pointing over there and doing the calibration anymore. I'm just going to start it. Awesome. It just touched on 0.39. And I'll do one more check on the sea star before I wrap this up. Oh yeah, doing pretty good, man. I got one little corner in the bottom, and then it's actually filling in better than the top now. But here comes the wind again. Here comes the wind. I'm going to see if this one failed because of that wind. Anytime a slight breeze comes up, it usually fails to stack. I'm at 26 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'm not even halfway on the data I need. And I think I started this at 8, so it's been an hour. And that one didn't stack. I'm waiting on it to hit 27. There we go, 27. It's looking pretty good though. Can't really tell from that, but if I can get those corners filled out, or at least enough just to crop a little bit, I'll be happy. All right, I'm going to wrap this thing up. This was part 2. I don't want it to be too long. I'm going to see if I can get it to upload. And I'm going to keep checking on the clouds, making sure they aren't rolling in. And thanks for watching. Clear skies.